glad we're all here today. So this is the F5 Recovery Radio. Super happy. It's One Pretty Ricky, Kirsten and Adam Martin. This is season 2, y'all.
Why do you get to continued to be called Pretty Ricky, and we still have to be?
You guys have
go by our names
because you guys haven't picked like
A-bomb.
A-bomb. Okay. Like BALM.
Or no, Atom Bomb.
Atom Bomb. Oh, okay.
Spelled
BAL,
with
like
a
the
T.
hand cream?
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought he was saying. Bomb. Like a,
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
am
I know
I
you're
mumbling
saying.
to you?
No, I'm just kidding.
Am I funny to you?
So, anyways, this is the launch of the new
season 2
podcast, new platform, new partners.
Yep.
Tellwell is helping us out with this.
So shout out Tellwell.
Shout out to
awesome.
them. And so we're really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This is way better.
Yeah. There's
I
not a
probably
mic
shouldn't say it's
dangling
way
in my
better.
face.
People are going to get offended
Yeah.
because but you know, we have a. How do you say it without making it sound
Well,
like
you
we
say it
don't
like-
appreciate where we came from?
Yeah. Well, it's like it's how F5 started. We were very grassroots with just the one single webcam and, just 3 of us and 3 mics.
Yeah.
And now we have 3 cameras and 3 microphones and like a whole like backdrop now. Like we're just so
Technically this is like season 3, just so you know. Remember, because we used to do it on the phone in the old F5 building at the brown round table.
Yeah.
We did one over Halloween and wore masks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
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 So.
Yeah. I think I even called that episode like taking off your mask or something. I was trying to make it really clever.
Oh, yeah.
It
Deep.
didn't really go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
But
It
technically,
sounded
this
good to
season,
me.
but like this is the newest reiteration of our show though.
Yeah.
So that's why it's season 2.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice.
So Did you see this?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay.
we're not sitting on stools. I don't have a big old mic dangling in my face, just like date night. Just have this nice little thing.
Okay.
Oh man, this is
So
great.
what are we talking about today?
Yes.
What's the first topic of the new launch of this podcast?
Yeah, so we always try to
super ADHD.
do something
with this.
different. Yeah, don't be distracted with those.
Yeah.
That's all good.
I'm just gonna be me.
That's right.
Like in that chair yesterday when I was speaking at the chamber event,
Just
and it was like
constantly
it was like the
moving.
size of Ricky's chair, but it was leather.
Yeah, it was
And I'm
cold.
like wearing the only thing that would have made it worse is if I was wearing like leather pants.
Oh.
glad you.
So
Could've
Ricky's
been
out,
badass, yeah.
right? He,
Yeah.
But every time I moved, it was just like that really uncomfortable like sounds
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and I couldn't. And so there's like 120 people in the crowd or whatever. And I was like, this chair is really uncomfortable.
But thankfully,
The chamber's
Livewire
like, why are you talking about
Yeah.
the chair? We're supposed to be talking about behavioral health.
I know Scott's like what? And then like Livewire just made sure they muted your mic because you could tell you were just very focused on this chair.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear anything, but
Yeah.
you could tell Adam was.
I even got a text. They're like, "Were you okay?" I was like, "No, I wasn't." How it's hard to talk about being an expert in a topic when the chair's throwing you off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like,
and it's like when I came here and then I saw this couch, I was like, "This is no." I think I have like a sensory. I don't know. I don't think it's like a disorder or something, but I just get really hyper focused on something that is just weird to me
probably a
mentally.
disorder, yeah. So where did you speak at yesterday?
I spoke at the Chamber of Commerce, the West Fargo Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
the Eggs and Issues. It was incarceration and behavioral
Oh,
health.
cool.
So it was like me, the director of the Department of Corrections, one of the probation officers from Moorhead, and then Andy from the jail captain or administrator, and then Pam Sagnis, the executive director of behavioral health. She gave a presentation, so she wasn't on the panel,
Right.
and then the rest of us were on the panel.
Yeah.
And I told, at one point in time, here's two things. At one point in time, I've been in one of those systems at any given time. So I was either
Right.
on probation in Moorhead, or I was locked up in North Dakota, or I was locked up in jail. So that was kind of interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And then number two, I've been controversial, what's the word? Controversial. Yeah. So like opinionated with those systems in the past or whatever. And I'm trying to like be a better partner,
Right.
you know, and not just be so like aggressively opinionated. And so I told them, I was like, before we go on stage, I just want you guys to know, I'm not going to get opinionated and start arguments with you up on stage or whatever. And they were like, oh.
It is good. It's good to have that voice out there. I think you should stay opinionated.
Well, it's
or passionate.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's a nice way of saying you're an ass.
Right.
Like, and that, it does come off that way. Like, if you're really passionate about something, they're like, oh man, this guy's an asshole. You know, so it's true. So.
Well, not really. You just want answers, or you want answers on a specific thing, you know?
Well, even one of the questions they asked yesterday was like, what can you tell us about, like, you know, where we're at as a society or something with the cyclical, like, nature of, like, homelessness, alcohol or addiction and incarceration. You know, and they were going down the row or whatever, and I was like, it's not really like a cycle as much as like being a spider web of like trauma and mental health and, you know, generational stuff and, you know, like whatever, like, you know, at any given time, you could be a part of all these systems.
Yeah.
And more. Like, it's so weird. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about it. Like, I think it's weird that we have a court system in the federal level, the state level, and the city level, and one could be in all three of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Is that not weird to people?
Yeah.
Like, am I the only one that sits up at night and thinks, why do we have 3 court systems all located in Fargo?
Right.
Like, why can't we just have one? You know, so it's like a spider web, and that's what I was like trying to explain. And then Andy was like, Captain from the jail, he was like, "Well, Adam's right, but we'll get back to the topic."
What was the topic?
Behavioral health and incarceration, which is what I was talking about. It was just like, but like my mind, like, you know, like, have you ever like when Neo sees like the Matrix or whatever, and then like it becomes like 3D or whatever. Like when you look at the world like in like a 2D, you're like, oh, there's a system, there's a system, there's a system. But then if you're in them, you just kind of turn them, and then you just like see everything that comes with it in like 3 different ways, you know. Like at one time I had to do like 4 breathalyzers a day because I was in 2 systems, and they both had me doing it twice a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like why would? And they knew that they were doing it.
Yeah.
And so
it's overwhelming.
I'd run over to this place and do a breathalyzer at 7:30, and then I have to run to this place and have it done by like 8:30. And then at the end of the day, I'd have to do the same thing. And it was just like, I guess I could have drank on the way here. Like it's completely possible, but like, what's going to stop me from the 2 periods that are the longest from each other? Like, what's the point, you know, between this hour and that hour? So. It's just not a lot of time. You know, we don't put a lot of thought into other systems. We just look at our system, and we're not really worried about, you know, how much they're going through with the feds or child support enforcement or whatever. You know, it's not. It's like multiple systems with multiple agencies within those systems, and so it can be kind of burden. So that was the spider web that I was talking about, and I think the employers that were like in there were like.
Yeah.
No, I just go to work.
Yeah, for real. I think a lot of times they're looking for like the silver bullet to fix addiction and homelessness or whatever. Like if they have this one program, it's going to just change everything. But there's so many moving parts of people's lives when they're in that situation, like with treatment and child protection and legal, and all of these things are happening at the same time, and it's overwhelming. And they have minimal coping skills, low transportation. I mean, it's hard.
I've been a CEO for like 7 years, and it's harder today than it was when I started. It was actually more fun when I started. Now it's kind of like a lot of stuff or whatever, and multiple. It's kind of like being a CEO is very similar to like re-entry, being because there's just so many layers to it or whatever. And I think the best. Way I got equipped to the role I have today was because of all the chaos that I had to go through when I first got sober. You know, so it's because it gets overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know?
I bet.
I couldn't imagine having my life today and not having my driver's license in a car.
Right.
Like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I would to get rides to go like meet with like partners in Bismarck, and so I'd be like, hey, can you give me a ride to work today? Where's work in Bismarck? But they do the guys in the houses have to do that because they have court in Bismarck.
Yeah.
You know, and they won't. And a lot of times they don't do. We didn't have Zoom. You know, they can do it a little bit now or whatever. But during COVID, man, everybody hit their appointments because everything was virtual.
Yeah, so you don't leave. You just from your house.
And guess what happened? The jail population went down.
Right.
Not only because they were like letting people out because of COVID and stuff like that, but because people were actually showing up to their court appointments because it was Zoom and they didn't have to rely on anybody other than just having an internet connection.
Right.
They
That
should
makes
just
a lot of
transfer
sense,
all
actually.
that.
Yeah, no bench warrants and stuff. Yeah. Do they still have the 24/7 program where if you have a DUI and lose your license, you have to make your way out to do a breathalyzer twice a day?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
They should just have a bus dedicated to
I know, it's so
24/7.
ridiculous. It is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I know you can't drive out here, but you got to be out here by 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Yep.
And then I know you kind of have to try and find a way to work. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. So if somebody like makes it through that, man, like you really got to invest in them because
Oh my gosh, for real.
like it's not easy,
Right.
you know. So
And most people can't afford to do the bracelet because if they do it, that in lieu of 24/7, then it costs however much a day.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I think you have to pay a deposit of like 160 and change. Plus, I think total is like, I have a guy or a participant that I used to work with. He had to pay, it was $687 altogether, like by the time he would get done. And he was only supposed to be on it for 3 months. Like, I'm like, this is crazy.
It is wild.
And I was
it's
like,
crazy because you could just use your phone.
Right. But I'm like, has to pay this? And I was like, where are you supposed to get this money? And he's just doing day labor.
We need to know where you're at all times,
At
so you
all
wear
times.
this bracelet. How about I could just turn on my location services with Snapchat.
Right.
You know, well, you can't wear your phone. Like,
Wow.
oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going anywhere without it. So I guess, I mean, yeah, there's, I'm sure I'd be a hustler and I would figure something out.
There's people who do, of course,
Like,
like
hey,
any
take this
system.
to-
Yeah.
Take my phone
Take
over
my
to
phone
work.
and then transfer the number to this, phone, and then
Just have all your calls forwarded
or
to a
use
different phone.
apps to, yeah, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're
That's a
going
lot
to do
of
that, like they're probably not going to make it on a bracelet anyway.
Right.
Like, that's the problem I have with the system is like, is the goal for them to be is public safety the goal? Like, are you just trying to check the box, or are we just like prolonging
Right.
what could potentially be the inevitable? Like, are you just like putting a bracelet on them so they stay out of trouble, or are you putting it on them so that they get in trouble and you can just send them back?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, what's the goal here? Like, is it rehabilitation or is it like punitive public safety?
Right.
So
I just feel like it's like forced accountability. So
Yeah.
if anything, we can't trust you because you did this crime or because you whatever it is. Now we're going to force you to have to do this thing that you've never had to do before. You've never had to check in with anybody before. But now we're going to like make you do this. And then when you complete it, okay, now you're done. Like, okay, now we feel good about letting you go and going back to your regular life. If somehow like just doing this 24/7, doing the bracelet, doing whatever, and just getting by, because they're not offering anything else. And that's was interesting what Captain Andy was talking about. He's like really good at keeping people alive, but our system isn't set up to be able to sustain the people once they are alive. Like, okay, now that you're alive now, you know, you have to deal with all these mental health things. But sorry, we can't help you. Like, we're only able to keep you alive.
Yeah, this
You
is
know,
why
it's like,
like
what?
agencies and nonprofits could do a better job because we don't have to worry about the red tape of partnerships. So like, for instance, the Ridge is a treatment center and it's like their walk-in is located at F5. Now, if the jail or the prison really wanted to like level up, they would have, which JRCC is, because they're going to have F5 office in the prison.
Right.
Right? That's the first time I've ever seen anything where, because my idea at the jail has always been like, why don't you just let people, the providers, have an office at the jail so that way when someone's released, they can just walk, to them.
Yeah.
They I don't know if there's just red tape or you just can't do that because even with the probation office, like they put it across the street from the jail so that they didn't have any excuse about making it there as soon as they got out of jail. What happened? All the appointments went up.
Right.
So if we know that, that's the evidence that shows that, then why can't we do that with partners who are actually going to be meeting with them more frequently, more focused on housing, employment, and whatever. It's, you know, because of the red tape, because we're not a department.
Right.
You know, that's what we need. We need a re-entry department. I ain't working for the state though.
Right, I was like, that was my next question. Like,
Yeah, no.
you running that?
No, I've not. I mean, the people who work at the state are like the perfect people to work at the state. We would not be. I would be so. My hands would be tied. I might as well be locked up because I'd be handcuffed in everything that I'd want to do.
Right. You'd want to do something, be like, oh.
Yeah, I think this is why they never offered me a job, because they're just like, wow, we're gonna forfeit to the idea that this is gonna work.
Right. And it has.
Yeah, it's worked better not working there.
Right.
Yeah.
Just being a partner rather than an employee. It's like, yeah, I'll just partner with you.
Just give Adam a few chess pieces and let him go play on his own board. Yeah.
But at some point, you'd think they'd look and see, like, okay, this is actually working, and whatever is happening currently is not working, you know, so why not start to implement some of those things? It just means changing a whole bunch of rules and opinions and whatever, but...
Which, I mean, that will never happen. That's unfortunate. I won't say never happen, but it's going to take a whole lot more. Because no matter how successful F5, no matter how successful community options, like so many different nonprofits, so many different for-profits that are doing and all these great things. It's kind of like when we've had those conversations about treatment, about, okay, this person goes through, they graduate, but then they come back.
Right.
Is that considered success? For most people, no. Like, well, they had to go back to treatment.
Yeah.
Then it's not. But it's like, well, no, that actually is, because this person's trying again.
That's the problem with multi-systems.
Yeah.
They all have different like goals about the same thing.
Right.
So like the Department of Justice, or you know, the DOCR, like they do recidivism. Like, so their only interest is, did they come back to prison?
Right.
Right. Well, this guy didn't come back to prison, but he relapsed.
Right.
You know, so so in this other system, they're like, well, then that's not success.
Right.
When the Department of Justice is like, that's success. And then us, it's just like, is he alive? Like, that's success.
We're winning.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so until we can all get on the same page about what that model should look like or whatever, but even then it gets kind of dictatorship, like, you know, like this is what success looks like. That's gross. I can't, like, you know, like if someone relapses, they're still on the journey.
Right.
Like, just because you know, it's kind of like entrepreneurship. Like, if I sucked when I started, I didn't know anything about business. You could probably use different parts of like entrepreneur, like you know, a relapse, like where I failed or something didn't work or whatever, and I had to pivot and try something different. But that pivot's really important. It means that you're still trying. So to me, you're still in recovery.
Right.
You're always in recovery. Well, I went back to prison after a relapse. Like, well, to their standards, you weren't successful, I guess, but we're still talking.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like you're still letting that part in. And for some people, that's a win. That's a big win. You know, how many times have you, like, someone not in your life that didn't do, you know, isn't doing well, or maybe they're toxic or whatever, and you just like cut them out of your life or whatever, like, you know, or if there's someone who's doing really well in your life and you're just like, oh, I'm good, you know, like, and then you just kind of detach from them.
Yeah.
Like, if you're still connected, it's still like it's still going. Like, you're
Right.
still on the journey. You're not on the journey when you just completely just push everyone away and just like, screw it, I'm just gonna go get high for a year.
Right.
And then come back, you know. But even then,
that
you're
could be
still
success.
on the
It
journey.
really could. Yeah, it really
and I
could.
think a lot of times that, like, in, you know, in society, we just have this idea of what success looks like. And the problem is if you take everybody's version of what success is, nobody's successful.
Right.
Literally no one. There's a few guys I know that suck at business, and they are the most amazing dads I've ever seen.
Right.
Right? Like, we all bring something to the table, and that should be the something that you should be remembered for, not like you failed at starting 3 businesses, you know, or you lost your kids, but you're really good at business.
Right.
you know, whatever the case may be. Like we get so focused on. I saw this guy, this teacher. Like I think we talked about it, that video where the guy went up to the whiteboard and he started doing like 9 + 1, 9 + 2, and then he like equaled them out. And then on the 9 times 1, and then he got to 9 times 9, and he said 82. And then one of the kids laughed, and he's like, "Why are you laughing?" He's like, "Because you got that one wrong." He's like, "But I got the other 9 right."
Right.
And he's like, "This is the epitome of society." Is that we get so hyper-focused on the things that people do that are wrong,
Yeah.
even though they led a whole life that could have been right.
Right.
Why? Why are we so hyper-focused on that?
Yeah, I don't
Or,
know.
you know, like, you know who kind of is like an anomaly in that is like Wolverine from Marvel or whatever. Literally, big asshole, does everything wrong. He just says everything wrong. But then in the final moment, 9 times 9, he hits 81.
Right.
And he's the guy you want on your, and then he just goes and isolates, and people are like, "Oh, this is so amazing." But in the real world, they would be just like, "Look at all these things he's doing wrong."
He's not a functioning adult. Yeah. I know.
He's just a piece of crap or whatever. And then, but it's so true, like how he is, because if you are in a bad situation, you're asking anybody for help,
Right.
even someone you just talk crap about all the time. All the time, your morals go out the out the window.
Yep.
So
I say keep the bar low. That's what I've learned in life.
you know what? If we kept the bar low with everyone around us, I mean, there would be people who'd show up and be like, "Oh, you're just enabling him. He's a narcissist, and he's or whatever." He's like, "No, I'm just living life, man. Like I just want to live like my life. I have
Yeah.
like maybe 30 years left or something. I doubt I'm gonna make it to my 80s. Like I'm just not. I've screwed my body up quite a bit over the years, so there's probably something sitting back here in the back of my neck that's just like waiting to make an appearance. And so, anyways, I got like maybe we'll just say hypothetically, maybe 40 years. I'm half over. It is half over, and I'm being super pessimistic about it. It's half over. Now, like, am I going to sit on my bed, like, thinking about all of my successes, or am I going to sit on my deathbed full of regret? That's where I'm at. And if I got to, like, I'm just not going to fill my life with, like, the negative, Facebook comments by fake profiles, which is super consumed my, like, everything
I'm sure.
on social media.
It's huge.
Like, nobody wants to, like, why do you get to be anonymous? Why can't I be anonymous? But anyway, I'm done. I'm just setting the bar low.
Yeah.
With everyone.
Do it all. Yep.
Yeah. It's way easier to
It
accept
is
people
so
that way.
way easier. Because nothing anybody does has anything to do with me anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't want to have any regrets.
No regrets.
No
I'm
regrets.
gonna get
No
that
regrets.
tattoo just like that kid who was spelled wrong. No,
Yeah. No
And
regrets.
then, no
Yeah.
regrets. And watch how many people make fun of me, and I'll be like, I don't care,
Yeah.
but I do.
See these other tattoos I got right?
I came out of a blackout with a tattoo spelled wrong. This guy had just gotten out of prison, and he had a Duracell battery tattoo gun. So I thought,
No, he didn't.
he did. And he was a felon, so it was hot. So I was like, well, we're going to go with this. And then I don't remember the rest. And then the next day on my chest, I had a skeletal hand around a heart, and it looked like it was shoving it through my chest. And then he wrote "Love Sucks," and he spelled it wrong. Anyway,
Isn't that like the Powell Skateboards logo?
love sucks.
Oh, no.
No.
The skeleton through the
hand
heart?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
can't
right.
remember if that.
Yeah, might
If
be.
that I'll have to Google that later.
I don't know. It was super meaningful, though. It was
He was
just,
probably sitting there like, what could I draw? And then he saw a skateboard. He's like, oh, she's going to think this is awesome.
Well, speaking of hearts, we want to thank, of course, F5 Project and The Ridge for being our sponsors and allowing us to do this. And
You're welcome.
being, well, I know, I realized I was like, when I'm talking to the guy who's making this happen. But yeah,
we
but
should
it's-
send a note.
yeah.
I should do that everywhere. Anytime I sponsor some like dog or kid or whatever, I'm just going to stand around them until they thank me.
Like, yeah, just arms folded, just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sarah
You like that
McLachlan,
bike?
Who?
Yeah.
You like school? Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a sad infomercial.
It just looks like puppy dog eyes.
There's people out there that are like that. I've had people donate and then expect me to like do like a public shout out for like $5, and like every dollar counts. I'm not downsiding that, but it's just like, man, like it gets really like the public shout, like it just gets a little overwhelming where everyone
Yeah, well,
wants
what's
to,
the point in giving if you
I
need
don't
a
know.
pat on the back?
People
for
will be
it?
like, he takes selfies all the time with the good stuff that he does, or and so I appreciate when people post good things or whatever, and I don't think that when like if you're taking, like there is a line, like if you're like at the homeless shelter and you're like taking a selfie and like, I'm helping this guy today. It's like, did you ask him at least? That's my thing with like posting about like the good deeds that you do. Like I always get permission from the people, and like, are you cool if I post about this? Tag F5 or whatever. Because my goal is that I want F5 to like have that brand that we hold ourselves to a higher standard, but we may have a lower bar for the people around. And so, but when people like, I just saw it the other day. A guy took a picture of a guy that was like laid out or whatever, and he was like, look, this guy needs help or whatever. I was like, so fucking help him.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're
Take
looking
the
at
picture
it right
after
now.
when he's awake and not drunk, passed out. Like that's a little much. I wouldn't do that. But
I think people just saw too many infomercials where it's like the children in Africa that just have the cleft lips and other things, and like, help this child, 80 cents a day, whatever it is. Like too much of that, like where it's like this concept of like, your small contribution can really change the life of this person. But no one really thinks about like, all right, am I actually going to do it? Am I actually going to spend the 80 cents or whatever it is? Like, oh, yeah, my heartstrings tug. Like, oh, that sucks to see that kid. But no one ever actually does anything about it. So like that guy, like, did he actually help that person?
I don't know.
That's what my point is. It's like, okay, he's doing this for some sort of, glorification of himself, probably. Or
Yeah, can
his
you do
org
it
or
just to
whatever.
not be a dick?
Yeah, just
Like,
do it without expecting anything in return.
Well, it's subjective. I mean, because there's people out there that think the same thing about me, right? So I'm trying, like, we all have a line,
Right.
Like even what we tolerate in, like, with like the people around us or like in society, because even with, there's people that just absolutely hate F5 because they think we're just like codependent, enable, criminals. And it's like, okay, well, I guess. I mean,
I suppose if
wrong.
you're helping, I
yeah.
guess.
I mean, my whole theory is that, most people are like, they just need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. I'm like, okay. And I'm like walking over there with some boots.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and taking a selfie, and it's more like a shot at that guy for a bit, like, he doesn't need any help. I'm like, I'm helping him.
These are a size 9, he's an 11.
Yeah, so that's like their line. But, I have lines, right? Like, I have a line. I mean, if someone... It would be really hard for me to be helpful to someone who hurt my daughter.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if someone hurt my daughter, it would pull something out of me. I'm not the guy to send to go help that guy.
Right.
Right? But Ricky can. Ricky's not emotionally connected to my daughter.
Right.
So like I would be cool that guy got help.
Right.
Like so my line even goes farther. I just have a personal line that I just don't want to be angry all the time. You know what I mean? So like helping people that I'm angry at that hurt me, like that would be weird. But I heard a speaker one time. His name was Ed Munum. He passed away. Or he was a super. He used to be a coach for the Harlem Globetrotters, right? Like a long time ago or something for them. He was a pastor. Like he was just like a jack of all trades.
Okay.
He had hands like bananas. Like they were just like huge. Anyways, his dad got killed or like murdered or something like that. And a part of his like recovery is that he had to go back and like make amends, and then like he had forgiveness and stuff like that. Stuff he didn't want to hold on his heart, and the only way is like to get it out. And so he went and visited the guy who killed his dad and forgave him. And then listen, like that's one thing. He took it a step further, and when that guy got out of prison, he helped him.
Yep.
And I don't like, man, that's Gandhi level. Like that's like I couldn't imagine be like, because the problem is I personalize it. I start thinking about like, what if they killed my daughter? Like, well, did they? Well, no, but they could.
Right.
he's in California.
Right.
You're in North Dakota, and the likelihood of you guys actually seeing each other, but it's, you know, and then they're like, well, you know, what about their dad or whatever? And like, you're still personal. Like, the goal is that we want public safety, and we want to ensure that nobody else gets hurt. And the best way to do that is to be helpful, right? At least for my, like, I rarely see, like, I was helping this guy and then he killed me. You know, the only one that I can think of is Chris Kyle, that American Sniper guy, where he was like doing the shooting range stuff, and that guy took him out. But outside of that, there's not. It's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like, when you help people, you know what I said yesterday. When you help people become better, they become better people, and they help people become better. Like, or however I said it. I don't even remember how I said it. Better people help people be better, or whatever. Hurt people hurt people. You could just do this little clip right here, and people would be like, "What the shit is he talking about?"
This is
Tongue twister.
They put anything on TV.
It sounded like Eddie Murphy from that infomercial. One. Like, it's inspiring, but I don't know what he said.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I really think that you would absolutely help someone that even like personally took a shot at you.
Oh, at me. I'm
Yeah.
cool with, like, if they hurt me. Like, I might get a little rageful and resentful at first or whatever, but eventually, like, I'll come around. My worst fear, though, is someone hurting my kids. Like, I don't, like, that would be really hard for me, especially if I'm in the moment when it happens or whatever.
Yeah.
With this podcast, you know, they started a podcast in the prison. I might become a new host for that. Like, if something, like, I'm not like, you know, like, I'm still human, you know, I still get hurt, I still whatever, like, so, you know, family is still, like, very like, if that happened, it would, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the majority of guys I've met in prison, is that they were put in a situation in the heat of the moment and made a decision.
Right.
You know, and so it's like any one of us could go to prison at any time.
Right.
You know, so it. I mean, there's things you can do to, like, not do that. Like, don't get drunk and go to the bars all the time. Like, that, your stats might go up a little bit.
Your odds are improving.
Yeah, your odds are improve.
Vastly.
But I mean, but you never. I can't tell you how many guys I've met where they came home and their, like, woman was cheating on them with a friend, and then they killed their friend, not intending to.
Right.
You know, they just went red. But I also know guys who have, like, been through the system where they went home and they saw that and they left.
Right.
You know, like, you'd never know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. You know, especially if you're drinking or doing drugs and stuff. So that's why we get to the root of it. And people usually think it's like, just stop using, and you'll never go back to prison. You know, or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's cool. But now they're dealing with everything mentally that they've been putting off, like their dad beating them when they were a kid.
Right.
And so, trauma is the gateway drug or whatever, but the crazy thing about trauma is you don't have to, like, the outcome doesn't have to be drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
It can just be
It
behaviors.
manifests in different ways.
Yeah, it manifests in 1,000 different ways.
Yep.
Even people who think they're not addicts, they're addicts in some way.
Yeah, we all got our thing.
Yeah, Seinfeld, maybe. You know, gambling,
Yep.
you know, alcohol. Some people, you know, I've met people that did fentanyl that never even drank or smoked weed before. Like like they just tried it because they just needed some kind of relief from the world. You know, the world is trauma.
Yeah, we're human, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to deal with and try to figure out and navigate. And some people just navigate it well. But I think that for me, it's just always like, okay, well, how do everything changes, you know, once I, like, met Jelsa. It's like, okay, so now I'm navigating life differently because now I have a partner to, like, help me figure this out. And then when we had a kid, it's like, okay, now I got to navigate differently. So, like, different things will happen, different connections will happen, and things have to pivot. But if I was still doing the same, not even, like, take the drugs out of it. Like, if I was doing everything that I was doing when I was 18, as a 37-year-old, that's a completely different, I was living a very, very different life then than I would be doing now. And so if I was still doing those same things, you know, I was wild. Like, it was just very, very different. If I never matured and still doing those same things, it's like, how, like, dude, you have a kid, you're married, you have a house, and you have a car. Like, why are you just drinking all the time? Why are you partying? Why are you just literally staying up for 24 hours playing video games? because I can. Like, it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But at the time, and when I was 18.
Hold on. Let's not put playing video games in that. Because I'll stay up for 24 hours to play Call of Duty.
But not all the time.
I mean, if I could.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that I don't get. No,
If I could, I would. I mean, I gotta sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you don't have to sleep, but I proved that right with meth. But
I can't even move the head and the body in the same direction. So if it's
Oh, you're one of those when you play
duck
video
hunt,
games?
I'm
Just
out.
like, just see their camera just scrolling all over.
Yeah, like
Just
why am I still
firing,
running
just
into the
doing
wall and shooting? Anyway, the boys think it's funny.
yeah.
I would think that's funny too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I like when when people play that never play video games, because I just sit there and judge. I don't get too many things, but that's my thing.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
But I'm also extremely competitive. Like, that's very addicting for me. I'm very competitive. Like, when I'm driving in my car and someone pulls up next to me, and then they take off a little faster than me, I'm like, this asshole. Like, and so then I'll speed up, and then they speed up, and the next thing I know, we're racing. My daughter's like, faster, faster.
Just encouraging you.
You think they're racing? They're probably running from you.
Dude, my baby, she is a completely different beast, because she's like, my boys would be like, slow down, and she's like, faster. I think she's gonna be the first one that's gonna play hockey. So it's because she'll like crawl up to the back of the couch and just nosedive, like, that's gonna hurt. Okay. She got her first bloody nose the other day from jumping off the couch.
Of course.
Get a good dental program.
And it always starts like,
Good dental plan.
it always starts like, Dad or Daddy, look at me. And I'm like, and before I even look, I'm like, oh God. And I'll look over and she's like, wee. And she has like no concept of gravity and pain or whatever. So then she's like, well, this worked on the couch or whatever. So then she like crawls up to like the cupboard. And she's like, and I'll turn around like, what are you doing? That's like a hard floor. There's no carpet there.
I'm learning the hard way. Yeah, I know.
But I mean, that level of trust that she has, that you're gonna just be there to just take care of her.
Yeah.
Just like no other.
Yeah.
She's like, yep, Daddy's got me, and just leaps.
I just hope she does it while I'm in the room. She doesn't like think like she's like upstairs, like up on the dresser, and she's like, Daddy will catch me, and then just like I'm downstairs and you just hear bonk. Where were you? It's like,
Therapy. Yeah. Yeah, kids are interesting.
So, well, this is awesome. I think Telwell did a fantastic job with like all of this.
Yep.
This has like kind of been the vision since the beginning. But I'm too ADHD to like go out and get microphones and get designs and have a room. Well, we had a room dedicated to it, but I just went and bought like soundproofing. And you remember that room?
Yes,
yeah,
I do
it was like a
remember.
very tiny room, had soundproofing. It was all black.
Yeah.
I grabbed paintings or pictures from like my house and put it in it. And they're like, what is this room?
Good.
Everything in the whole office is white, and then there's like this one black room, and they're like, what is this? It's my new office.
It was quiet, but you would never stay in there.
No, because it was just like so claustrophobic. It was like,
Yeah, because it was a black room with like a bunch of padding.
now they use it for therapy, and I'm like, man, this is trippy.
I know, I saw when
How
they
are
first-
people comfortable in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will make you feel better about your life.
Yeah.
But at least it's soundproof, so I guess.
Yeah, that's the
depending on what
point.
you-
Is like you can have like a good conversation.
Can't hear people screaming and stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll come out. It's like, oh, yeah, it's intense. That just would feel really intense. But I don't know if I would like want white walls, because then I would feel like a mental, like padded room type.
We were talking before. I was like,
You know.
turn like the lights down, like because it does. There's a room at Cass County Jail that's like the rubber room.
Oh,
That's where like the story about the when I got in the restraint chair. And,
oh yeah.
and pissed all over myself and whatever, got tased
It's a good
and
story. I
stuff.
like that.
Yeah, we'll save that for the next episode. But that whole room is just like white, hard rubber walls or whatever, because like it's like a suicide room. So like I think people are like maybe they're like running as fast as they could and like for 4 feet and then like try to knock themselves out or something. But this is supposed to be the anti, like you're just gonna bounce off the wall, like like rubber bullets or whatever. And it looks just like this. It's like, so as soon as I walked in here, I was like, oh,
I'm back.
trigger.
What does this remind
I'm
me
gonna
of?
piss myself right now.
Like, anyone have a mop? Ooh. Leaked a little.
Leave here and go to your cell, yeah.
And that's the only room I ever got beat down. So they came in like SWAT gear or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, he's out of his chair." Because I got out, like if you're watching it, I was in this like 5-point restraint chair, and I got out of it, like Houdini or whatever, and they were like, "Oh shit,
Get him!
and then they come in with like their SWAT gear or whatever, and then they're like putting me on the ground. I was like, "This escalated very fast." I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I just want to go to the bathroom.
I just have to pee,
I was tired
guys.
of pissing on myself. Yeah.
Should have tied it tighter.
I was like super impressed. Like, there's not a lot of things you can be like prideful about or impressed about when you're like doing meth and drinking all the time. But when I got out of that restraint chair, I was like, man, I am amazing.
From a split second, you were like, "This must be what Superman feels like."
Yeah. No, well, I mean, Superman would just like lifted his wrists or whatever. I felt like I was going to escape jail, and I was in like the most secure part.
Exactly. I'm sure
like
this is,
there's
like, in the
guards like
center
right
of jail.
outside, and it's
Right.
all windows. You know, like you're not going anywhere. Even if you get through this wall, you have to go through like 7 other walls. You know.
Superman wouldn't have been in jail.
No,
fair.
but he did. He turned himself into jail and stayed there.
Superman?
Yeah.
I thought he just did phone booth stuff. To change his outfit, I don't know. I'm not the best with like action figures or whatever. But if you want to talk Gem,
Gem.
what's
Gem, she's truly outrageous, you know.
What?
Action figure. We had Gem, you guys had G.I. Joe.
that? Oh,
I've never heard
I've
of
never
Gem.
heard of Gem. Oh, tell us more about this.
Gem, she's truly outrageous. She's a rock
You
star.
said that already.
I know. That's
that
her
the-
theme
is that the
song.
tagline?
That is her theme
Oh,
song.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all the cookie
She's
crumbles.
like a thick Barbie. She's like a thick badass Barbie.
With 2 C's?
Oh, a thick
Yeah.
Barbie.
With 2
Yeah.
C's.
I don't know
She's
what that
Gem.
means.
Well,
What does
you'll
two
have
C-
to Google it.
What does
I'm
two
really
C's
like-
mean?
THICC?
Yeah.
Thick?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Why is this 2 C's?
Because
Ew.
you stick. Because
Oh my
But why
god!
do
You
you spell
guys
it wrong,
using the same word to define the word is driving me crazy.
because
Yeah.
like thick, like
It's amazing.
CK
What does that
is-
mean? It's amazing.
it's delicious.
Like it's really
It's really,
amazing.
really good. So like, I mean, you
It's
have like
amazing,
think of
amazing.
like a thick burger,
It's
right?
outrageous is what it is.
THICK. But like, think of a thick woman. THICC.
So I don't get why you spell it wrong when you think of a thick woman.
Because you don't want to really.
We're going down a
of her.
road.
Yeah,
that-
okay, yeah.
I was like,
I
how
don't
do I
get
do
this
this
thing.
on our podcast?
Why don't they get the correct spelling?
Maybe that's a gambling.
Is that a woman thing? You just spell it wrong on purpose? Are we not allowed to have correct spelling words?
You never heard of slang before?
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of slang,
there you
Ricky.
go. Same-
I get that it's a slang. I don't understand why
Why
it's a
it's-
slang.
Why 2 C's?
Why it's that way.
Kind of like. Well, again, we'll tell
And
you
this
off
is
the
what you can
podcast.
have if you stay sober long enough.
This is the like great philosophical conversations you have. This is this type
Yeah.
of stuff that we have on our podcast.
mean,
what we're
it's
doing right
interesting.
now is the same thing that Kirsten went through with ODAT. Where it's like one day at a time, and she was like, "Oh, that's what it means." I thought it meant like, "Oh, that guy." Like, no,
That was super.
no one has ever thought of that.
Really?
No,
Oh.
no, we've had no one.
they usually say, "What does that mean?" Not assume that it means that
Yeah, most people,
you're talking
yeah.
in slang.
Well. Yeah, I got
So like
nothing.
the fact that you
I got
actually like
nothing.
went down
yeah.
and like
yeah.
a path and
Maybe
oh, that's what I thought.
mean
this
with the
meant.
Saints or whatever, like the Who Dat or whatever. I could see.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from.
Oh, was it?
Saints.
Yeah.
So what was the topic of the? We were gonna do 2 truths and 1 lie today,
We're gonna
Okay.
do 2 lies and 1 truth.
and people get to know us. How much time we got left?
About 15 minutes.
Okay,
You start.
you start.
With your, but do 2 truths and a lie, because
Okay.
I have a lot of lies, so I should
It's
go
a lot
with some
harder
truths.
to think
yeah.
of some truths. Okay. Well, this is F5 Recovery Radio. This is your host, co-host.
Finally, we plugged it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Well, we did it at the beginning.
Because what do you want your name to be now?
Yeah, it's Atom Bomb.
No,
Bomb,
if
bomb.
people start calling me Adam Bomb in the community, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
I was
viral.
joking.
Yeah. So you just want to be Adam Martin?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just Adam Martin.
So this is F5 Recovery Radio with co-host One Pretty Ricky, Adam Martin, Kirsten Hooven,
I might want something different. I don't know. Yet.
K-Town.
K-Town.
Yeah, that is old school.
Okay, K-Town.
Yeah.
K-Town.
They don't have K-towns here, I'm assuming? Like Koreatown?
Oh, what?
What?
You guys have never heard like a Koreatown before?
A curry town?
Korea, like
Oh,
the country.
Korea town?
That's what we call it, K-town, like Chinatown, K-town. Really?
No.
We're in Fargo,
Yeah.
Ricky.
Yeah. But like, you
Where
guys have,
at what point did you think that there was going to be a Korea town in Fargo,
it
North
might
Dakota?
be. Not in Fargo, but like you guys have been around. Like it's not like. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Well-
didn't mean
Been
to-
around where?
Didn't mean to bring age into it. I apologize.
Listen, I went to San Francisco one time,
Good.
like because I had to fly in there to go up to Pelican Bay Prison.
Yeah.
And I got there, and like when I got off, it was like you know, it was like all Asian people, and I was just like, for a split second, I was like, I got on the wrong plane. I was actually, for a second, I was like literally like not scared because they're Asian people, but like scared like
That
I was
you made
like
it to Beijing.
that was a long flight actually, because I didn't see any I didn't see anybody. Like I'm not lying to you. Like I was
know,
like,
yeah, we
and
know.
this isn't like being racist. It was just like for a sec, like it. I'm not. It's like I'm from Fargo, North Dakota. Like
Yes.
everybody that I see is like majority white, right? And so then when I got off there and I was like the only white guy, except for the people who got off the plane with me, I was like, "Am I in San Francisco?" And then you turn and you go around and you're like, "Oh, okay."
There's a trolley.
Yeah, there's somebody wearing North Face.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I've never experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt tall though.
That's the only time. That's the only time I've ever, but I've never felt that in Fargo. So,
Yeah.
like asking the question, like, "Oh, you don't have a K town around here?"
Yeah.
No, we have Dilworth.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different.
it is very different. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Let's see. 2 truths and a lie. So, went to my first meeting when I was 30. I am. Let's see. I have 5 cousins, and trying to think about it. No, this isn't the lie. I promise. Dun, 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 dun. I have over 65 pairs of shoes.
wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think the cousins is a lie.
Yeah, I have
How do you only have 5 cousins?
Well, yeah, you have more than I have more than that.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
This one, but my mom has 7 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids.
Oh, that's how cousins work. I don't know why they would be nephews and nieces.
We gotta clip that.
How many brothers and sisters you got? And then you're like, I got 1. And I was like, damn, we got a lot of kids.
Oh, you are from Alabama,
those
though,
are
right?
Nieces
nieces
and
and
nephews.
nephews.
Yeah. They do it different in Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 5 cousins is a lie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You
How
have
many
65 pairs of shoes?
yeah.
Holy
Where do you keep it?
goodness
Do you have a
sakes.
shoe room?
I have 2
Are
closets.
you counting like a department store as your closet?
No,
Like you haven't
I
bought
have a
them
lot
yet?
of shoes in California that I haven't. So like, I don't pack shoes when I travel there. I just like, or I'll pack shoes that I'm like leaving and then I'll bring some back. I just constantly just like bring new shoes. But I have 2 closets full of shoes. Jalsa's not impressed, but yeah.
How many pairs of shoes does Jelsa have?
Last I counted, because someone had asked me that, I think she had like 23, 24, something like that. So yeah, 3 times the amount of shoes.
You are such a unique person. Like you counted how many shoes your woman
asked, and I
has.
was like, I don't know, I need to know. And it was just like, and I
You
got,
need to know.
yeah, I had to go home and like count all the shoes, like went to all the closets. I was like, oh, that's my closet. Oh, that's my closet too. And then I was like, oh, there's some more shoes. And yeah,
I have my dudes, my Chucks, and my work boots.
I could never.
There's no
If you
flair.
could, you would be like, they would have to be awesome.
Yeah, because it's one. Yeah, it's hard for me to have shoes that other people have.
That's called addiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's
So you're
not
cool
gambling
with it.
anymore,
Like
so
I'm cool
it's
with you
good.
being addicted.
Yeah, it's
Like
like,
if
I've
that's
known-
where you're at in your journey.
You just do. You just switch to the next shiny thing, really.
So to really hurt you, someone would have to steal all your shoes.
Oh my god, I love my son and my wife, but yeah,
Huh.
that would be. I have spent a lot of time on collecting and preserving.
Oh, they're
and cleaning.
collections.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
definitely I have.
So like baseball cards? Okay.
I have
Okay.
those too. Yeah.
I've placed myself in your shoes now.
Oh.
So I can see why you have, I mean, because I have like cards and magazine, you know, the comics and stuff.
Oh. So shoes are that way.
You collect baseball cards?
I used to. I have a bunch. Yeah. My dad was like really into like, we're kind of opposites on this. He was like, find your favorite player and then collect all his cards. And then as soon as you have all his cards, move on to the next player. That was like his, which I think is completely ridiculous because what do you do with all the rest of the card, you know?
Well, yeah. 'Cause
And so I just bought cards and collecting them, and I was like, you know, kind of like how kids are like with like Pokemon cards or whatever. Like I totally get it because they're just like opening to see if they can find that one
Right.
or whatever, and then they just like disregard the rest. I just didn't disregard them. I just put them in a box and
Oh.
yeah,
Cool.
And comics? Those are your collecting things?
yeah. When I was a kid, yeah,
Oh.
but I still have them.
Yeah.
They're just like sitting in a box.
Oh. They're probably worth something. Oh, that's what they always say. If you keep something long enough, it's worth something, but it's probably not.
No, that's my grandma's philosophy, and
Yeah.
none of her stuff is worth anything. Maybe. I doubt it.
Oh,
That's
is she alive?
subjective.
Is she alive?
Yes.
I hope she doesn't watch this.
Well, I'll make sure of it.
Cut that out, guys.
Kirsten, what about for you? 2 truths and a lie. What you got?
Okay, let's see.
She has no tattoos.
Let's see. 2 truths and a lie. I was a mortuary apprentice for a while, so I can embalm people if they're dead. I grew up in a double wide trailer, and if I trip, my tongue goes numb.
Okay. I'm proud of you for having to like really think of that lie. Cause the last one, I'm gonna guess that's the lie.
But it doesn't like make sense.
You have to know this.
Yeah.
No, what?
You have to know which is the lie.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
No. I grew up in not a double wide. I didn't grow up in a double wide. Remember, we
I
were
thought that
sitting there
was
together, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
being
because
better
you're
than
just
you,
like
and
yeah. She was categorizing me as like lower
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
the
was in a
single
single wide
Yeah.
trailer when I
Got
grew
it.
up, which I found out later that I'm on the opposite. Like it used to be single, and then we got a double wide.
Yeah, but
Or whatever, you know, so I'm actually better than Kirsten.
yeah, and we never. I was bragging up, growing up in a double wide, and then my mom, in front of Adam, said, "We never had a double wide." So, anyway, it was just devastating.
you know, just crushed.
I know it was crushing.
Like, wow,
Anyway.
all the time.
So
Yeah.
I think we just totally like overlooked
Yeah.
the fact that her tongue goes numb when she trips.
I was gonna.
Or
yeah,
if I'm looking over the ledge and it's really high or something.
Your tongue goes numb.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't
for
know
how
why.
long?
Well, just while you're doing
so
that,
like when
I
you're
suppose.
it's not the trip, it's the falling,
No, it's like the I'm gonna fall, like that thing, like
and then you just tongue goes numb.
Tongue just
yeah,
freezes
just
up.
not just for a little while. You know, it's not like I can't talk for an hour or something. It's just a thing, I guess. I thought it was
Wow.
pretty common, and then I told somebody once, and
You know when we play 2 truths
said
and a lie,
no.
you eventually have to tell us what the like that you're lying.
yeah.
It's
Like,
the
this is-
mortuary one. It was the lie,
Okay.
right?
No, I did not grow up in a double wide.
Okay,
that was
that's
the
the-
lie.
holy cow.
Yeah.
Calm down, woman.
But we covered it. We've covered it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure. I didn't know there was an apprenticeship for being a morgue person.
Yeah. Yeah, there was. It was darker days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They.
Yeah. Dead end
I don't
job.
get that.
I mean, come on, it just keeps going. Yeah.
Or it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I did makeup. I mean, I did the whole thing. Drove the hearse
Where?
in Jamestown.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
It was before I was sober, so
Yeah.
maybe I was maybe
she
I
wasn't
was.
really an apprentice. She was just like showing up. She got
Yeah.
arrested and was like
They
taking.
just let me go in there.
they just let- just
Yeah.
I'm a mortician now. Like, now you're in felony prison. Or you're in prison for
I
felony.
could do makeup.
Yeah, it was good. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're up.
I'm related to Morgan Fairchild. Is like the celebrity in the family. I'm related to her. I have 3 biological kids, and I have been sober for 15 years.
Wow. Okay.
I gotta do the kids now, just to make sure.
Okay. Because there's Nick.
Here's Nick, Brecken, and baby.
Okay. All right. All right.
Just
All right.
3.
Morgan Fairchild.
Do you guys know who that is?
Isn't she? Is she a cook?
Isn't she a what?
Is she a cook?
No.
Oh.
She was on. It's not like a name dropper. I mean, it would have been back in the day, but she was on the show Dallas. Like she's an actress or whatever.
Oh.
So, and she was very popular back in the day, like with the whole like Farrah Fawcett hairstyle.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
So that's the lie. Because technically, I mean, you have like 10
No.
years of like clean time, but like I feel like it
What
could
did
be
I
the,
say? 15 years
Yeah.
of recovery or 15 years sober?
Sober.
Okay.
So.
But I feel like if you add up all the
I
like
think
the little bit of
that's-
times between the relapses.
Oh, that was like 20.
Just so we're.
Well,
If
I
we're
mean,
talking
yeah.
about from the day I decided I wanted to get sober to like now, that would be like 25 years or
Yeah.
something like that.
That's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah,
like you were
no.
like, oh, but just adding these.
No, I'm
on.
talking actual like
Oh,
no
then-
alcohol, no drugs.
Well, that's a lie because I mean I liked your Facebook status when you said you were 10 years clean.
Yeah, I think it's 10-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lie.
And I
So
think on your-
Morgan Fairchild, I'll have to Google that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Like when Burt Reynolds was hot? That
Yeah,
kind of thing?
like that.
Oh, all right,
yeah.
all right, all
Well,
right.
Burt Reynolds is still.
I feel
good
like he's
looking.
still hot.
I mean,
Is this a subjective thing, or you?
I
Think,
wouldn't
like,
make
he's
him
not-
leave, I guess.
I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those. All right. Well, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna talk about in the next one. We talked
So
about
did you
everything.
get to meet her then?
No, I've never met her. This is all like hearsay, like my grandma told me. So,
Of course.
Huh.
but she told me when she like it was like many years ago. So she was like,
Yeah.
she would know at that time.
Morgan Fairchild. I'm about to look her up. So what's Dallas? What is this show?
What's Dallas?
I don't.
It was a TV show.
Yes, but what is it about?
It was
I
like
don't
a
know.
soap opera
It
at
was like,
night.
Yeah.
Oh. Like All My Children.
Like everything fades to black, and everyone's thinking like, who farted?
Oh.
Like that moment is like, oh, you cheated on me, and then it fades to black, and it's just like everyone's silent, staring.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Mad TV episode
Yes.
where it's just like, who farted? It's like fades to black.
Yeah. It's so
No,
fun.
I absolutely watch more intelligent things.
That TV was great. Harry Spears by far will always be one of my favorite comedians because of that show. Yeah, it was just great. Like it was like late '90s, early 2000s. It was kind of like I think it was Comedy Central, whoever's network it was kind of like trying to be like SNL, but like different. Like their sketches were a lot more off color and other things.
Oh, I appreciate that.
They recorded too. I mean, they recorded it live.
Yep.
Where SNL was like live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Mad
Kind of like
Comics.
the difference with us now.
Yeah.
We're like Mad TV.
Yeah. That what we're going
Oh, thanks. You just threw us all under the bus. Adam.
with? Look, this is live.
We just broke the fifth wall. Deadpool.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure. Well, as we close, do you guys have anything you want to plug or share?
No, I don't know what we did right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is different because we're like so used to like staring into the microphone and being on the radio or whatever.
Right.
But I like this. This is but it has the ability to like go off topic really fast and get obsessed about shoes for a little bit.
I think we've always had that ability, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a gift, man.
No.
Really.
I just want to thank F5 for supporting this and the Ridge Treatment and Reentry Center, Telwell for the productions on this, and just appreciate everybody. Make sure you leave a comment, share this, and tell us what you think about it. And then also, if you become subscribers, we still have we'll give you a free T-shirt and And so whatever platform this is on, become a subscriber, whether it's Spotify or on Anchor. Well, I guess that is Spotify now.
Yeah.
They bought them. Or Facebook or whatever. So cool.
Don't have any of those.
Until the cookie crumbles again.
Yeah, that should be your new T-shirt.
Is that that's?
Or thick with 2
Thanks
C's.
everybody. We appreciate your time. And cut.